Hello, everybody. So, a couple of apologies, a couple of announcements, blah, 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 and all the rest of it. So, the first apology I have is if you notice my red, puffy eyes, I do apologize. I realized this morning I'm about 3 weeks behind with Call the Midwife. So, I've been doing a bit of a binge watch. Yeah, Call the Midwife always makes me cry. I think it's the music, but that must be what it is. So I'm going to be on my own from now on. I had a message from Julie the other week to say that she's hasn't got the time to broadcast on a Wednesday at 2 o'clock. So she's no longer able to do the show. That's fine. You know, people have lives, and you know you can't criticize them for that. And talking of lives, I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. I've been in a bit of a dark place at the moment for the last sort of month. I had a bit of an issue with my job, so I'm currently unemployed, and it's getting me rather down. And also with the show, I've just not had the confidence. I don't have the confidence right now, and if this turns out to be a bad show, I really do apologize in advance, but I am trying my best. But it's something I'd like to actually talk about today because, you know, I'm absolutely really struggling right now to put this show out. I was talking to someone just before the show, and they were saying, you know, because I was talking to them on Facebook, and all my house in the background was all going all over the place. So what's going on? I said, I'm pacing. I'm pacing and I'm thinking of reasons to cancel the show, because it's just, once your mental health issues start going, it just really gets to you. But we did talk the other week about using the Facebook group for people to talk about their issues. A lot of groups have talked about why you do diamond painting or any other craft. And a lot of people will come out and say, yeah, I have this issue, that medical condition, whatever. And it really helps me. And for me, that certainly is true. Oh, sorry, I've lost my flow. I do apologize. I am trying. Yeah, so I mean, I'm in a position right now where my paranoia is just completely taken over. I feel friends are out to get me. I feel friends are talking about me behind my back about issues that they shouldn't be talking about, that are my personal business. I feel people are out to wreck things that I'm trying to do, and that may be true, that may not be true. But the way, you know, once you get paranoia kicking in, and it's funny that people say, oh, let's talk about it, and does that always work? Because I know that when I came out 20 years ago as trans, if you don't understand something yourself, can you expect other people to understand? And at that particular time, 20 years ago, even trans people didn't really understand things that well, and there wasn't so many support groups. If there were more support groups, would things be better now? I don't know. But is it our duty to try and support? I'm not going to mention any names in case they, you know, I don't want to talk about specific things, but I know somebody on the Facebook group that has an illness, and it's something that I just cannot understand. And the reason I can't understand it is because it's not something that's touched my life before, other than having a friend who has it. So how much support can I give? Now, they've given me resources to read up on and try to understand. But at the end of the day, they're words on the paper. So anyway, so I'm kind of digressing, but I'm not. Let me catch up on the chat. So I'd like to thank 12 people watching. That is absolutely amazing. That really helps with the confidence. That really picks me up. First of all, I want to say thank you to Bill with Adrian. He says, hello, everyone on Penny's Pitstop channel. Mike Tedstone says, hi all. Hi, Penny. Good to see you. And I'm going to assume this is Teresa because it's usually Teresa, but it just says Facebook user. Hey, Penny. And then she says, you will pick up the confidence. So with my channel, I'm having a lot of problems with my part works. Oh, Daniel Boudreau. Hello, Daniel Boudreau. You always make me smile. Just your appearance on my show. And how's your dogs? So good morning, you beautiful peeps. That just fills me with joy. And then Facebook user, I assume Teresa says yes. I'm having problems with my part works, which I assume is to do with the move. I seem to be big chunks of part works missing, and I am just absolutely surrounded by part works. And with this last month, with me feeling so down, I've just got no go. I've just got, and I'm having trouble with the computer, with recording. Things are cutting out, cameras are stopping working. So I'm just thinking, actually, I might just knock it on the head for the part works, do the occasional update, just get on and build them in my spare time, get on with this one live show. The cooking show is postponed for don't know how long. I really did enjoy doing that cooking show, but when you've got no proper income coming in, you don't have the money to try new. Basically, I'm living off the recipes that I've been cooking so far, and I just really don't have the money to try new things. And you know, I'm spending money on absolute basics. So I'm eating well, but I'm eating a much smaller menu because it's all pasta and pasta flingdings and all the boring stuff that I normally have. But that will return when I'm in a better position to bring it back. Obviously, once I get a job, I don't know where I'm going to stand with this, but hopefully I'll be doing regular hours. So this show may be changed, either the day or the time, or both. I don't know at the moment, but it will. I will try my absolute best to keep it going. So Danielle says the dogs are good. And to give you an idea of how unmotivated I've been, this is how much progress I've made since the last stream. So I really do apologize. Now, the plan was to do a square a day. It should take me about an hour to do each square. So I worked out, if I started this last week, I know I started it weeks ago, but if I started there, then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'm going to start a new square there today, because that's where I would be up to if I did a square a day. And also it's going to be a little bit better for the camera, I think. I've been readjusting this diamond painting all morning, and to find the combination of a good angle for the camera and a good angle for me to work is almost impossible. When I'm off camera, I actually work on it this way round, because then this square is right near the bottom. But as you can see, that presents a problem. You can't see it on the camera. Sorry, I've just, my lodger is, she's a very, very good coffee maker, and she's just offered to make me a coffee. So I'm trying to give her sign language to say, no, I'm streaming. So, so I don't know why the camera's not a very good focus. It's my absolute best camera, and it just doesn't seem to want to know, but that's absolutely fine. We'll get on with what we can. So I have a couple of banners which I've put up. If you guys want to ask any questions or anything, I also want to say thank you to Smith's Beads. They did supply this. This is my birthday present from Mike and Teresa, and I really am grateful for that. So I want to put absolutely everything into this. So yeah, and I am doing word of the day. I've had a little chat with someone earlier before the show, and I have a word of the day which I'm gonna try and mention the first hour of it. Well, I'm to be honest with you, I'm probably only going to do an hour of the show today, so I'm going to mention that at some point. And also I want to tell you about this. Many of you know that I used to use the pick-me-up stick, which is basically, it's a little pen with a little bit of blue tack type substance, white tack, sticky poster post-attack. Different people call it different things. And what you do is you have a little tiny bit coming out the end, and then what you do is you squeeze the end, and let me just see if I can get a little bit out. There we go. So yeah, no, it's not going to come out. Now, the trouble with a pick-me-up pen is it comes as part of a pack, and you get all these little bits and bobs, and it's really, really good, but it makes it about 20-30 pounds. I did see a pen on its own, but because it was a seller from abroad, I think the pen was like £8, but the postage was like 30. And I'm like, I'm not paying £38 for a pen when I can buy a set for 20. But I came across this on Amazon, and I will try and get the link at some point. This is pretty much the exact same thing, but it's a pen on its own for about £8, but the hole is a little bit smaller, and I actually get on better with it. I got no comparison. Trouble is, I had a friend who's just recently got into diamond painting, and I gave him a few things to try. I gave him a Herbie Goes Bananas partial round, and he took it home about midnight, and about 3 in the morning he's sending me pictures going, oh, this is what I've done, I can't put it down. I'm like, you really need to go to bed because you got work in the morning. He's going, no, I need to get this done. So I think we've got somebody else into the hobby now, haven't we? So yeah, so I'm just going to crack on with this a little bit. But yeah, I don't know, maybe that'll help with the comparison. You see how it's a little bit of a smaller nib, and it just, I like it. So you know, if anybody asks me to recommend it, the answer is yeah, most definitely. So what has everybody been up to? And is there anything anybody wishes to discuss? Because I've just gone and said everything I need to say, and now I can't think of anything else. Terrible host that I am. So, and that is it for 310. So actually, on the subject of dogs, Danielle, we I've got I rent my spare room out to a lodger, lovely lodger. But we were talking about getting a dog or a pet or something, and we're in a little bit of a conflict on what dog to get. We've decided we can't. We're on a second floor flat, so getting a cat is probably not the best idea, because letting a cat out in the second floor, yeah, it's not going to work out for us. So, you know, obviously, if I can get a regular job working, say late, for example, and then the lodger can get a job like what I'd call normal time, sort of 9 to 5. It then spreads out when people are home, which then means we worked out if she got a 9 to 5, like a retail job, the dog would probably be on its own for about 4 hours a day, and that could work. And then obviously she could walk the dog in the morning. I would walk the dog when I got up. Then I'd walk the dog again just before I went to work. You know, so she'd walk the dog when she got home from work, and I'd walk it last thing at night, and it would work out. But yeah, we are having a slight conflict in what kind of dog that we want to have. So I'm trying to just focus on what I need to get. 779. I've always been a bigger dog fan myself, and my favorite, well, funnily enough, I used to be, can I call myself an ex-dog snob? I would only have a pedigree dog, because with crossbreeds, and I really don't like the word mongrel even for a dog, but with a pedigree, you theoretically know what you're getting, whereas with a crossbreed, you don't know how much of each character you're getting through. But my first proper dog, you know, my own dog, solely mine, was a pedigree Dalmatian, and he was absolutely wonderful, absolutely brilliant. all the characteristics of a proper Dalmatian. And it was just really funny when we had guests round. I used to have a neighbour come round, and I knew him very well, and I more often than not knew he was coming. Now, if he knocked on the door and I went and answered the door and let him in, the dog was absolutely fine, happy to see him, well behaved, got on with what he was doing. But if I just sort of said, yeah, door's open, in you come, and I didn't actually go to the front door, although the dog would be fine with him, he would not let my friend out of his sight. And it was like he's saying, yes, I know you, but I'm really not sure if you should be here because Penny hasn't come and answered the door. And when we used to take him for a walk, I used to let him off the lead, and he'd run off and do his own thing. And then after about a minute, he'd run back and come and find me. And I thought, yeah, that's a proper protection dog, isn't it? Because that is what Dalmatians are bred for. And we also, as a family, we had Weimaraners, a Weimaraner, sorry, who was, I don't know, I think apparently she was ill when she was a pup, and we couldn't get her like after 8. I think we got her after about 12 weeks where she was ill. And we always say that this illness obviously affected her brain because she was just loopy. She'd run on a field and she would just run into random things like posts. And I don't know if that's normal for a Weimaraner, but the most annoying thing she used to do was she'd go and have a drink at the water bowl, and she'd fill her lips up with water, and then she'd come up to you and kiss you, like she'd put a face in your lap, and all this water would just come out of her lips and it would soak your lap. So yeah, she was just completely mad. But I've also had a crossbreed Staffordshire Bull Terrier, which I believe was crossed with Black Lab, and I'm convinced that it was a little bit of German Shepherd in him as well. And it was before then I said I'd never have a mongrel, a crossbreed. But to be honest with you, he was such a lovely dog. He had the best of 3 breeds, but then obviously he also had the worst of 3 breeds. He certainly was stubborn, but the little characteristics that came out, and he was just such a wonderful dog. So yeah, what kind of dog do we get? So Chris Davis World, hello. He says, hi all, how are you? There's a guy whose channel I don't support as much as I could. But Chris Davis World, yeah, he's another part work builder. So thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. So yeah, if anyone's got any ideas for a dog that will work quite well with more than one person in the house, can be quite happily left for about 4 or 5 hours, doesn't do too much damage to the house, because one day when I move out, I would like my damage deposit back. Something nice and friendly, and yeah, it doesn't have a bad bone in its body. I know there's an argument that you can make any dog bad and you could probably make any dog good, and I kind of subscribe to that as well. But I thought about something like a Labrador, but I believe they're quite hard work when they're young, because that's a dog that really needs to be active. So obviously we can take it for walks, but you know, when you come home from work and you're walking the dog, I mean, let's face it, when you come home from work, walking the dog is the chore, isn't it? It's that walk that has to be done that you don't really want to do. You're only doing it because you're a responsible dog owner. Whereas that walk in the middle of the day, that's the walk that you really want to do with your dog. Go out and enjoy the day with the dog. And then obviously there'll be times when you just want to sit on the sofa and just cuddle with your dog, watching a video. That's probably when the dog wants to be a little bit more active. Mike Tedstone's made a suggestion of a Staffy. I have a bit of a stigma with Staffies, actually. Staffies, to me, are the dogs that the teenagers get because they want to look like they're a bit hard. Don't mess with me, I've got Staffy. And the reason I've got Staffy is because I can't get a pit bull terrier because they're banned. But then again, I've had a dog with got a lot of Staffy in it. And the only issue I really had with him was, and I don't know if this is a Staffy in him or it was him, but when we had a visitor round, I just could not calm him down. And because Staffies pack an awful lot of weight for the size of them, he'll run up to people and he'll jump. And although he's only sort of a couple of feet high, he has a lot of weight behind him. And if like someone comes round with their child and he runs up to them and jumps up, the child's just going to go flying. And they're not, that's obviously a dangerous situation. And I just could not get that out of him. And what we ended up having to do was have a little pen for him. And if anyone came to the door, I just have to shout, "Yeah, I'll be a minute. I'm just putting the dog away," and then we would be having to put the dog away, which is a lot of inconvenience. You know, what's the point of having a dog if you've got to shut the dog away when someone comes round? So if anyone knows anything about staffs and can tell me if that is a Staffy or if that was just my particular dog, you know, it's not that I couldn't train him. Well, I'm trying to catch up with. Chris, you've got a black Labrador, haven't you? For some reason, sometimes I get confused between Labradors and Retrievers. I'm pretty sure you've got a black Labrador. And Teresa says that she loves Labradors. Labradors are great, but again, they're one of those dogs I think that they need a little bit more activity. They need, for example, you need to perhaps give it tasks to do. You know, hide balls in the garden and make it go and get it. Because they are traditionally a gun dog, aren't they? So, you know, in their natural state, you would be going out with your gun and shooting ducks and whatever, and then they would be going out and finding the scent and bringing them back to you. And they thrive off being being active and doing intelligent tasks. So, but then again, I suppose if a dog gets into the routine, you know, it's morning time, I'm going to have breakfast, then go for a little walk. Then Penny's going to get ready for work. So Penny will be around, but I'm not going to be doing too much. And then, I'm going to be left alone for a few hours, but that's okay because the other girl's going to be coming back. Sorry, I refer to her as the other girl because obviously I don't want to give out her name on stream. You know, so she'll be back and then I'll get a little walk and then Penny will be back at this time and we'll get to go for a walk. We'll get fed. We'll get a little bit of a play time and then we can snuggle up in bed. So I suppose once the routine is set with the dog, I suppose it doesn't really matter what you do and when you do it. But then in my current state, I think having a dog is a bit of a pipe dream, isn't it? I don't know. So, but then I suppose this is life, isn't it? You know, life goes well and then life doesn't go so well. And 1 minute you're planning on taking over the world and the next minute you're just planning on just trying to pick yourself up. So, yeah, we have another confetti heavy piece on this. But then I think with having lots of little bits on this, I think I like that really. All this pulling out a certain color and then doing 2 or 3 tiles. and then going back and doing another one, and then trying to keep up with the chat. Whoa. So Teresa says German Shepherds. German Shepherds are lovely. They really are good dogs. And I think German Shepherds, they're the kind of dog that they give back what they get, literally good and bad. If you respect the dog and you look after it, you will get a lot of respect and love back. And I don't know, I would, if you ever mistreated a German Shepherd, I would be just so scared that one day it's going to bite me. And I do believe, I know some dogs do bite because, I don't know, maybe they've got a mental health defect. But I think the majority of dogs, they're all lovely if you treat them well. And you tend to find these nasty dogs, that's because the owners haven't treated them well. Not always, but most of the time. And I would be a little bit scared of that with a German Shepherd. And they're a little bit too protective at times, aren't they? A little touch of bite now, ask questions later. Mike Testone says a Shih Tzu. Now, my friend has Shih Tzus, and she says she gets an awful lot of reward from them. I think they have a lot of love to give. But I don't know. They seem... I see now who is that old lady who used to write romance novels? Is it Barbara Cartland? When I think of a Shih Tzu, I just think of her. And, she's overly made up, and she used to look like a clown, but apparently she wrote really good books, and she was well known for having her dogs. And I don't know. Am I out of touch there? So Mike says I can't spell. So I'm not going to mention the joke that involves a Shih Tzu. So I think everyone said it on this channel, haven't they? So Chris Davis says, yes, I have. Mike Tedstone, definitely not a Yorkshire Terrier. Now, Yorkshire Terrier, when my mum and dad first got married, they had a little Yorkshire Terrier called Spike. And I get the impression it was more my mum's dog than my dad's. Now, my dad says that he has trouble remembering what he had for breakfast, let alone what dog they had 40 years ago. But he claims he can't remember the dog. But we had pictures of it, and I said, "Oh, what's who's this?" And it says Spike on the back, and he's gone, "I really can't remember." So, but yeah, but Yorkshire Terriers, they're lovely little dogs, aren't they? But they are lovely little dogs. And then Chris Davis says Labrador Retriever. So that's Max, isn't it? Chris Davis says UK, I'm watching this while on the bus. So Julie says we have a cross Staffy Akita. She is brilliant. Now that's interesting because Staffies and Akitas, aren't they both what I'll call sharp teeth dogs, like protection dogs. I think Staffy's only just, obviously you've got things like Pit Bull Terriers, which are on the dangerous dog list and are illegal to own in the UK. And then you've got there's a Japanese fighting dog, isn't there? That's illegal as well. I think Staffies and Akitas are potentially almost there, but not quite. So to have a Staffordshire Bull Terrier and Akita cross, if you've got the worst of the two breeds, you've got a recipe for disaster there, haven't you? But saying that, Staffy, good with grandson, that doesn't totally shock me. So yeah. So Mike Tedstone, hobbies word of the day. Yeah, I'll give you a little clue. I have already said it at one point, and I might try and slip it in again. So I made sure you didn't hear the word before the show, Mike, because I know you like playing along. Chris Davis says, I'm watching this while on bus home. We knew what you meant, Chris. And then Teresa says, yeah, all dogs can be protective in their own way. Yeah. Again, it comes down to the respect thing, isn't it? If the dog loves and respects you, and accepts you into its pack, or accepts himself into your pack, and any harm comes to you, or he thinks any harm, then he's gonna be protective. Yeah, that's is that really a bad thing? You know, if I walk with my dog and someone comes along and tries to mug me and my dog bites him, it's kind of not a bad thing, is it? So Teresa's can be feisty, but she's brilliant. Yeah. Mike Stetson, you've seen the picture of Ivy? No, I haven't. And then Chris Davis says, what diamond painting you doing? Right, so obviously I can't show you all until it's come up, but this was given to me for my birthday. That's going to be the final picture. It's a 50 by 40 square. It is absolutely everything that I personally could ask for in a diamond painting. It's wolves, it's big, it's square, and the drills come from a reputable company rather than one of these Chinese Banggood. Nothing wrong with Banggood, but you get what you pay for. Mike, no, not asked Teresa either. Stephen Owen, hi Penny, day after day I put your show on. Sorry to hear about your situation. I'm still driving. Right, the way that I got the push, I won't say the company I was working for, but many years ago, I got unfairly dismissed by a particular company, and I had a really bad experience with them. I lost my job over a pre-arranged sickness. I had a letter from the hospital saying that I need an inpatient appointment. I need to take about a week off work. And I say they gave me 10 weeks notice. And I asked work if I could arrange the time. Told work I would be off. And they didn't authorize the time off. And they said, oh, you need to swap with someone to get you these days off. Well, unfortunately, the person I had to swap with, it would have meant they would have had to give up half of their long weekend off. Now, you know, if you've got a 6-day weekend coming up and someone asks you to give up 3 of them, it's not many people going to say yes. So in the end, I took time off. I lost my job over it. I did win my appeal eventually. 6 weeks it took me. And I was awarded my job back, but with no back pay, which I thought was unfair. The day I went back, I had a customer walk out in front of me on a non-pedestrian zone, puts a complaint in against me. I got a 3-day paid suspension. Absolutely no more came of that because I did nothing wrong. And then I took a week off through stress, and then they screwed about with my sick pay. And the edited version of what I said to my boss was, I really do not wish to work here anymore. And I slammed my wage slip into his chest. And I actually gave up bus driving for about 5-6 years. It actually completely put me off bus driving. The latest situation I have at the moment is I lost about a couple of weeks, about a month or 2 ago, I had a dizzy spell. And it was really weird. It was dizziness and nausea. It was like vertigo. And I rang the doctor, and the doctor immediately signed me off for a week because I'm driving. She said, you know, if you weren't driving, I'd sign you off until you felt fit to go back. But because you're driving, and she put me on a medication. She put me on these, which is the weirdest tablet I've ever taken. These are actually used they're antipsychotics. But what I thought was interesting was one of the known side effects is dizziness and nausea. So for them to put me on a tablet that causes dizziness and nausea in order to solve dizziness and nausea was a bit strange. But after about 4 days, I was absolutely fine. Now, after a week, the doctor said, yeah, you can go back to work. But she'd given me a 2-week course, and she didn't tell me to stop them. So I didn't stop taking them. And then the company doctor at this company that I'm working with at the moment, they said they cannot allow me back at work. Taking a tablet has a known side effect of dizziness. Again, no issues there. Obviously, if I had a dizzy spell while driving a bus, ploughed through a whole load of school kids, the repercussions of that is going to be massive. But what they did is they cancelled my contract, took all my bits and bobs off me, escorted me off the grounds, and then maybe pay for my bus fare home. And it was the same company that I worked for before that put me off bus driving. And this is the longest answer to a question ever, isn't it? So it kind of put me off bus driving a bit, but I kind of had a bit of a sensible thought and thought, well, maybe it's just how the company runs. Because another company I've worked for, who I believe Stephen Owen works for, I have never, ever had a problem with them. I had a problem with one manager once, but on the whole, the way the company is run, it's absolutely fantastic company to work for. And the last time I worked for this particular company, they were just rewarding their drivers left, right, and centre. I got a mystery shopper and scored 92%, and they gave me a free dinner voucher. And it's little perks like that I thought was made the job worthwhile. And you wake up in the morning and you can't wait to go to work, and that's a sign of a good job, isn't it? I'm almost at the point where when I finished my shift, I'm like, oh, have I got to go home now? So anyway, Chris says, nice, Penny. Mike says, sent you picture of Ivy. Okay, I'll look at that bit later on. And Stephen says, about the dogs, I got a few, as you know, rescue dogs. I found is rewarding. I had an Akita, which I lost to the Rainbow Bridge a couple of months ago. That was something that I was thinking about. When I got my Dalmatian, the breeder said to me, the thing about Dalmatians is that you don't pick them, they pick you. And I'd already decided I was going to get a male liver spot dog. And so I got in the pen with all the puppies. And it was funny because all of the girls were black spot and all the boys were liver spot. And I wanted a liver spot boy. But all of the girls had pushed, had taken over the front row. And I'm sitting there going, oh, you're so lovely. I love you all, but I can't take any of you home. And then just all of a sudden, this little tiny brown nose just pushed its way through the pack. And I just went, hadn't even got as far as the eyes. I went, yeah, you're the one who's put the most effort in to get to me. You are the one I'm having. And he had picked me. So on the basis of the comment that you just made, Steve, is rather than me looking for a certain dog, perhaps it might be a better idea to go to a rescue centre and let the dog pick me. Because it is a two-way thing, isn't it? You're not just picking a dog, the dog is picking you as well. So maybe not even think about what sort of dog I want. Look at the characteristics that I want, and then get the rescue home to say, yeah, this one might work for you, this one doesn't like people, blah, blah, blah. This one wants to be walked 25 hours a day. I'll say, right, I can't take him. And then see a sample of dogs and then see which dog wants me the most. Isn't that a little bit fairer? So, yeah, that's the way. When we're ready for a dog, that's how I might do it. Rather than me picking a dog, I'm going to go and allow a dog to pick me. So Mike Tedstone's made a guess at word of the day at being dog, which unfortunately isn't. So in fact, actually, I don't know if you know, when you start a stream, you have I have a little rough plan in my head about what I want to talk about, and dogs was actually the furthest thing from my mind at the time. So yeah, isn't it funny how the conversations go? So yeah, so most of the time I've got to say thank you to Chris Davis, because he's given me an awful lot of support lately, even if it is only in the form of playing computer games for far too long every day. But I have been leveling up very fast in a game called Red Dead Redemption, and it's one of those games where you can go around and try and shoot other players, but there is also a mode where you can protect yourself. You can't shoot other players, but they can't shoot you, and you can just go around and just do your own thing. And we're both very like-minded on there. We just want to go around and do our daily challenges and slaughter innocent animals and send them off for processing and make illegal moonshine and all the good things that every game I think should have. So yeah, it's a game called Red Dead Redemption. So, and we love doing our bounty hunting as well, because we like to take the bad guys off the streets, don't we, Chris? So yeah, now Mike's doing his usual thing of just having a million guesses. He figures if he throws enough guesses in, then one of them might be correct. So Chris says that he'll be on at 3 or just after. I was planning for this show to be about an hour today, just to see how it goes. So Teresa is correct. I am gaining a little bit of confidence as we go. As you know, I can talk about nothing for hours. So yeah, that's helpful. But I was just planning on doing about an hour, just to try and slowly get back into it. It's you know, I have intentions to do a show, and then as it gets closer, my body's going, oh, I can't do this, I can't do this, and it just gets incredibly hard. Steve Owen's been a bus driver for over 30 years, walked out a job to another. My license has been the best thing any. I totally agree with that. I've had my bus license now coming up for 20 years. 20 years? Yeah, 20 years. And I do love the job, and and I do focus too much on the now. And if I'm having a bad day now, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do bus driving anymore. And I turned down a job bus shunting, and it looks like when you're kind of walking away from the job, but doing bus shunting is kind of walking away from the job, but it's still within the trade. So that's what I'm trying to get into, and I think that's a job I can do. The bus shunters at the depot that I was at are a really good set of people, and they kind of have the attitude, if I can't have a laugh while I'm doing this, I really don't want to do the job. Just bear with me a sec. I need to look closely at this. I'm going to stick my head in. I have some shapes that I wasn't quite sure if it was one shape or another. It's not a bad diamond painting. It's bad eyesight on my part. 3371. And yeah, so I can see how the detail of this is building up. I know the camera's too far to see it, but this little blob there, that's 4 different colors. So you can see how the colors are going to blend in. And I do like that. It's I know it's fiddly doing 2 or 3 drills from one color, but I mean, look at the detail you get. So yeah, all worth it in the end. 3861. Look, there you go, another shade of purple. It's going to go up round this way. So Mike Tedstone says if he types out the complete script, he will get it. Yeah, unless you made a spelling mistake. So yeah, I'm gonna. Should I reveal the word? Oh, my camera's going. Yeah, My camera's on the blink. This is why I'm having problems. I don't know if it's I think it's my internet connection isn't helping. When I came over, the internet I used to have many years ago, I used to be with Virgin, and I can't say a bad word about Virgin Media. I really can't. But where I moved to, Virgin didn't cover, so I had to go over to another company who promised me good things, and it's running at about a fifth of the speed. In fact, it's not even running at a fifth of the speed of the Virgin, and I kind of want to complain to them and say, look, your broadband is not delivering what you promised. I categorically stated exactly what I was going to be doing on stream. I said I do YouTube videos, I upload them, and I do the occasional live stream. I don't mind if I was only doing pre-recorded videos. I could live with a slower connection because it just means they'll take longer to upload, and I tend to upload my video at least a week in advance. So if they take 10 hours to upload instead of 2 hours, I can live with that. But obviously, if you're getting a lower stream quality, and because I'm getting a lower stream quality, as you can see, the camera that this is coming down on, it's a really expensive camera, and I'm just not getting the quality from it. So it's absolutely pointless me going out and spending like £300 on a camera if I end up with the same quality as the camera that cost me 30 quid. So, but then again, there's always the argument, well, if this is what I'm getting from a really expensive webcam, what would the quality be like with a cheap one? So I am disappointed with it, but yeah, we'll just put up with it for now, and then I've got other things to sort out first, which are far more important, like getting a job and actually paying for the broadband. So yeah, so this pen I'm using, Quick Stick, I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah, you can't really see much, can you? Especially these colors I'm putting in that are quite similar to the rest of the background. So Mike says, keep it going for a bit. Do you think Teresa will tell me the word if I get her a Tiger DP? If it was me, Mike, the Tiger DP would have to be a very big one, and then I might think about saying, but I wouldn't give up word of the day for 20 by 20, especially if it's a partial. I would be looking at maybe 100 by 100 minimum full square. Yeah, minimum, maybe custom as well. You know, it'd have to be, and then maybe the frame to go with it. But Teresa says, no, Mike will not tell. And Teresa says, I agree. Yeah, it depends on the diamond painting. Yeah, you couldn't get away with the £2.99 fancels. So yeah, so what's everyone been up to then? Anything interesting? Sorry, bear with me a sec. Sorry, just checking something on the computer. Oh, so my plan is, and I keep saying this all the time, as you know, I cut my this into squares, and I aim to do 1 square a day, but because I'm so far behind, I'm going to be trying to do 2 squares a day. Once I actually crack on with this, it's about an hour's work, which you know, I could get up in the morning, make myself a cup of coffee, maybe a bit of toast, and just crack on with it. It's only when I get towards the end of the square that I struggle, because what I do is I'm probably the same as most other people. I pick one color, as you can see, and I go around and I pick up one symbol, and I do all of that. By the time I get towards the end, I then find all the ones that I've missed. So I probably pull out the same color 2 or 3 times per square. And then maybe I get a little bit fed up of pulling out the same color when I get towards the end of the square. So I start on the next square, and I'm kind of finishing this one and starting this one at the same time. So, but once I've done a bit, I then start hitting the corners. And what I'm aiming to do is kind of do a circle, with the circle getting smaller and smaller. I don't know if that's a weird, quirky way to do it. Maybe you would expect that weirdness from me. Maybe that's quite normal. I don't know. But that's me for you. So Chris, if you're still watching, when are you streaming next? It's Wednesday today, so I'm guessing you're streaming on Saturday. And that would be Ecto 1, which I know for a fact that you're quite excited about, because they've just taken a payment. And I know you're not excited about making the payment, but when you made a payment, it generally means that you're going to be getting your order very soon. And it's so nice to get boxes full of goodies that you just don't know what they are. It's so nice getting a knock at the door, and there's a postman standing there with a big box, and you're like, oh, what's this? For me? How wonderful. So yeah, so Chris is doing the Jag issue 6768. I can never remember actual issues. Do you know what 6768 is? Because I know that there's been, just like any other part work, really, you've got some really good issues, and you've got some issues where you're just going through the motions, but most of the issues are really good. It's the really small pieces of detail they put into them. As you can probably tell, I'm a bit of a detail freak, which is why I love these DPs. You know, if someone said to me 20 years ago, you, Penny, are going to be doing pictures, but you're going to be doing them one dot at a time for many hours until you're finished, I probably would have slapped them. But here I am doing pictures one tiny square at a time. So interestingly enough, one other thing that I've noticed, look, I mean, I've been streaming live now for what, a couple of years, and one of the biggest problems I used to have, that I would be focusing so much on something that I would forget to look at the comments, and you'd see comments that people have made like half an hour ago, and you're like, oh, you know, with about 20 comments after it, and you're like, oh no, I forgot. Now I'm a little bit more able to focus on this and not miss too many comments. Sometimes I miss them. I know when some people get going, they do make a lot of comments, and it's sometimes hard to keep up with them. But yeah, so going back to what I mentioned before, how do you guys feel about when you have a group that's like, for example, crafts? Because obviously, as you know, this goes out onto a Facebook group as well. But how do you feel about having someone talking about their own issues as well as a support group? Is that something that you think is a good idea? Maybe you think is a bad idea? As I say, I'm I can see two sides of the story there. On the one hand, it's great to have someone to be able to talk to. But then sometimes if someone's not in the same boat as you, it doesn't really help as much as it should. But then again, you also get the situation where you might get someone in the same situation as you that maybe doesn't feel it's appropriate to talk. And then once somebody else mentions it, they then go, oh, yeah, I have the same situation. Suddenly you've got a conversation going. And that can't be a bad thing, can it? So, right, I'm going to do one more colour. I'm going to do this number 8. And then I'm going to talk about closing the show down. Because I've done an hour and I'm actually really happy with how it's gone. I kind of suspected I was going to bomb out after about 15 minutes. And most of the nerves have gone. So I would really like to thank every single one of you for the support. It's been absolutely brilliant. I kind of feel rotten about, I'm going to say neglecting you all, but it's been really, really tough just to switch it. I mean, this computer's not even been on for about the last 2 weeks. As I say, I've got my own issues with, I have friends who, I think the little black book of friends is going in the bin and I'm buying a new one, so to speak. So, right, just a few more to go. Right, Penny Reed PM, right. Just needs one person to open up. Right, yeah, okay. So Teresa said I'm doing. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to figure out where we are. So Mike says 15 watches. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on the number of watches, and I'm really, really happy with that. So thank you to the 13 people on my channel and the 2 in Facebook. Facebook is something that I would like to promote. You know, I'd like to see more people watching on Facebook. I'm not saying stop watching on YouTube and watch on Facebook, but there's a lot of people that could perhaps get some enjoyment. Sorry, I've just got these pictures that Mike, do you mind if I show these pictures of Ivy, because they are absolutely smashing pictures. So and I've just had some really encouraging comments. So but yeah, so yeah, obviously there's 2 people watching on Facebook, which is absolutely fantastic. But obviously I'm trying to make this a show for many people to enjoy. So yeah, if we can get a few more figures on Facebook, that might be my fault, because I've had this discussion before with someone else. How soon is too soon to advertise a channel or a show? Something you guys might want to sort of join in with. My argument is that if you advertise a show way too early, yes, you get noticed and people are like, oh, lovely, yeah, this show is coming on. But then by the time the show comes, you kind of forget that the show is coming. But then if you advertise it too late, you know, if you, for example, you go, right, the show's starting in 5 minutes, you're only going to catch the people who happen to be online at that time. So most of your views is going to be coming after the show is finished. So where is that magic line between too soon and too late? You know, I've I was looking at analytics, but it's I don't really know when to post. And why is there no sticky here? It's interesting. This particular part, my pen is, there we go. dealt with this problem before. Round about here, the sticky's a little bit low. But what I tend to find is by the time you've filled in all the drills around, the drills will be held in by all the surrounding. And then obviously you put Mod Podge over the top and it's all good. So, yeah, so these are some pictures I've just been sent of ivy. And they are, let me just make sure I scroll the right way. You know when you scroll the wrong way and you get some pictures sent to you from someone else that you don't really want to share on stream. So this is, let me turn my light off. So that's the picture I've been sent of a dog called Ivy. Look at those eyes. They are waiting for something to happen eyes, aren't they? And that's a proper poser picture. Yeah, look at me. I'm absolutely gorgeous and I know it. I think that's it. Yeah, that one's really, really nice. Yeah, I'm gorgeous and I bloody well know it. Right. So, yeah, guys. So, right, let me catch up with the. So, yeah, we can work on it. That's talking about the Facebook group. Mike Tedstone, yes, fine. We used to do announcements in the group before for people going live. Yeah, I'm a little bit guilty. Even today, I'm guilty of this. I did do this show about an hour before. So, yeah, I am a little bit guilty of not giving people enough notes. That's why I'm really, really happy at having so many people watching. Because I didn't really, you know, I've not streamed for about 2 or 3 weeks. No one really knew if I was going to be streaming. And obviously there has been announcements during the week on other people's lives. But the kind of person that this show is aimed for isn't necessarily the same kind of person that these other shows are aimed for. So they just may not have caught them. So, yeah, I'm really happy with this. So Teresa says we can do the same again. So, yeah, I will look at doing... oh, wow. Sorry, I've just read ahead on it. I'll come to it. But, yeah, so I'll start doing these shows, announcing them maybe 24 hours in advance. I think that'd probably be a good one to start with. Chris Davis says, I'm enjoying this when traveling on the bus, just got back. I hope you're wearing headphones then, Chris, because there's nothing worse than a customer on the bus watching YouTube or TikTok or loud music. Yeah, it's very annoying, especially if they're deaf. I know you're not deaf, but if you have a deaf person, yeah, he's on his iPods. That's good. I consider that good, responsible watching. Do you know what? I shouldn't say anything about this, but one of the things that used to annoy me the most was when people would get on with their kids in prams and they would chuck an iPad or something in front of them. And yeah, okay, it's education. I'm not going to comment on the style of parenting, but all you're hearing is farm noises or Peppa Pig or I don't know, whatever the kids Postman Pat, while you're trying to drive a bus, and it makes it so much harder work. So yeah, the comment that made me go wow was this one. Those pictures are diamond pictures of Ivy. So I'm going to bring them up again because I did not know. No, they're not, are they? Apparently these are... Oh, do you mean this one? Oh, I see. Yes, I'm with you. Yes, I can see it now. So these ones, yeah, are diamond painting pictures. Is that what you meant? So that is absolutely amazing. Yes, that's why you can't tell, because look, if you look at the original picture, I'll turn the light off. That's the original picture. That's the diamond painting. And you can only really tell round about here, but the majority of it you can't. But you know, I've always said this, the bigger the picture, the better the detail. But this last picture, it shows this, look how big that is. So that's why the detail's so good. Oh God, yeah, Steve Owen, you've just got me going all day now. Baby shark, do 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 do. Yeah, it's one of those things that annoys you, but you really can't complain about it, because the bottom line is it's the child doing an educational activity, and if you moan, what you're essentially saying is, I'm sorry, I object to your child learning. And you know, it's just, you can't do that. So thankfully not many people are on the bus for more than about 10-15 minutes. So yeah, so Chris is doing the rear floor where the spare wheel goes on the Jag. Cool, you're catching up to me, aren't you? Right, so yeah, I've I have actually run out of steam. I do apologize. So if you guys don't object, I'm gonna just wind the show down now. It's been absolutely fantastic. It was so much better than I thought it would go. I'm being really negative, aren't I? But yeah, so I've just had another picture of this. This is, I just love that. That is absolutely brilliant. Oh, and that one as well. I do love that. That is just really, I am good. That it's not a looking at the camera pose. It's just like, yes, I'm not really looking at the camera, but I'm posing. That's just fantastic. Love that. Thank you for sending that. I do appreciate that. I feel very honored you shared that with me. Right. So shall you guess the word of the day? You can guess the word of the day if you like. Do you want to tell everybody, Teresa, or shall I? Because here's the big secret. Teresa has known all along what the word is. I remember I had a little conversation with her before the show, and I said, can Mike hear our phone conversation? Because I know he likes playing along. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Is this my best side picture? So yeah. So right, I'll let you tell everyone the word of the day then. And I did say it once, and the word of the day was pipe dream. And I like to think I'm quite good with word of the day, because you guys don't always. Well, Mike guesses every single word in the dictionary. I think he even chucks in words that I didn't even say. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with how that's gone. So I will definitely carry that on next week. Let's see if I missed any banners out. So I'm going to assume this is still valid. If anybody wants to head over to Smith's Beads, Smith's Beads are not actually an official sponsor of this stream, but they do supply us with some goods, and they have supplied this to me, for which I'm extremely grateful. So if I can just get a couple of people just to head over to their site, it's www.smithsbeads.co.uk, and then use this code 10new, and you'll get 10% off. I would imagine I will be about as grateful as Smith's Beads would be. So Mike Tedstone has put word pipe dream as though he's just guessed it, but Teresa just got in there before him. Mike was asking me what it was before I typed it. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't really want to tell you that Teresa already knew, because I thought you might hassle her a bit, but not saying you would. So yeah, let me change my camera and I will close off. So thank you for helping me do a wonderful show. I've really enjoyed it. I will be back on next week, unless something happens to change that. Somebody might offer me a really high paid job and working Wednesdays, and I have a choice between £1 million an hour or doing a diamond painting show. And as much as I love you guys, £1 million an hour would win every time. So what sentence did I use that in? I know that I did say something to expect that would be a pipe dream or something like that, but I did use it. I know I did, and I think it was around about 2:25. And I know you'll go back and watch the show, won't you? Right, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to call out the schedule for this week because it's just got really confusing. There's people get mentioned when they're not doing shows, and then people who are doing shows aren't getting mentioned. So to solve any arguments, I'm just not going to bother calling it out. And most of the shows are actually not diamond painting shows anyway. Guys, I will be on next week at 2 p.m. and I promise you I will set the show up on Tuesday. So if I haven't set the show up on Tuesday, then you know the show won't be on Wednesday. And if I do set the show up, you know it will definitely happen. If any of that made sense. So yeah, Chris Davis is on Saturday. I don't know if you can post your link to your channel, Chris. Let me get the old mini keyboard out. I love this keyboard. It's really, really cheap. I bought it because when I moved, I only really took more expensive essential stuff, and I forgot to bring my keyboard. Right, so this is Chris Davis World. Hopefully that will show up as a link. But yeah, give his channel a bit of a look. He is a really good builder. Yeah, that's come up fine, and so is Mike. Yeah, right. So that's all good. So yeah, so I will be on next week, guys. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate it. Do you like my new T-shirt, by the way? I bought this just before I moved. It's my favorite aeroplane of the whole world, the F-14 Tomcat, and it's all of the squadrons from all the US Navy squadrons that flew the F-14, and I got it. It wasn't very expensive. It's actually custom made by an American on. It's one of these Etsy type sites. It's not Etsy, but it's one of these where individuals come on and they sell their own products. And these are all made to order. And it costs something like £12–15 posted. And it came within about a week and a half, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. And I'm not going to take it off and show you the label, but it is a good brand. It's a good quality T-shirt. And it just goes to show that there are some people out there selling some really good quality merchandise. But as I say, they're all made to order. And I say he must have started working on it literally the second I placed the order and got that in the post the same day, because I say a week and a half. There was a knock at the door and I'm like, what's that? And I opened it up, it's my tea. I'm like, wow, that's really quick. So yeah, guys, so thank you very much for watching again. I really appreciate it. We're down to 13 people. That's absolutely fantastic. I couldn't have wished for a better reception for me coming back. I will get some of this done during the week, so we'll have more of the picture developing. But I might just bring down, just for the shows, I might have a slightly smaller diamond paintings, because obviously if I'm doing one square a day, bigger paintings are obviously going to take a lot longer. Having said that, when I get a bit of money behind me, I've got some really nice big customs that I want to do. Since I've been working agency, I take pictures of the buses that I drive, and I spent one night with Mike, not with Mike, but he was running these pictures through his custom DP maker, whatever you want to call it, and the results were absolutely fantastic, and I'm like, yeah, I need those in diamond paintings. So Yeah, guys, thank you for watching, and I will catch you next week. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you Wednesday. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.